fun, and we'll see you afterwards.
That's good, buddy. Enjoy.
All right, Joseph Newgarden joining the Superstars tonight here in Nashville. Let's bring in our pair of aces, keeping track of the deck down on pit road. We start with Willie T. Ribbs. What you got, Willie?
What I got is they call this place the Nashville Nightmare, especially for the new drivers. And last year when I raced here, it was a nightmare. 18-degree bank. This is the fastest track in the championship. And they're going to be hustling here. And we're going to see who's going to be the Nashville Cat when it's all over.
Well, Willie, one of those guys that we talked about making their debut in SRX tonight is Matt Kenseth. Now, 8 starts, 3 different series, and he's never competed here in the past 2 decades. Came in after a family vacation out west, sort of like the Griswolds, went to Mount Rushmore, Grand Canyon, and then, of course, Yellowstone after several weeks. Behind the wheel, this SRX car, it's kind of a cross between a super late model and a cup car. A lot to learn tonight. But then, again, like you said, Connor, at the end of the day, a race car is just a race car.
Well, we know Matt knows how to wheel a race car.
Yeah, I have
Very well.
plenty of Matt Kenseth die-casts in my collection, so I'm very, very excited to see how he does tonight. Such a great competitor, such a legend out there on the track, so I can't wait to see how he does.
That's the visor cam view from inside Matt Kenseth's machine tonight here in Nashville. So coming to the start-finish line to get the 1-to-go signal. Reminder about our format for Superstar Saturday night. 2 12-minute timed races. Starting order for the first heat drawn at random. They invert the finish from this first heat to start the second. And then the average of your finishes in the 2 heats determines where you line up for our 75-lap main. In this one, we had an incredible shower about an hour and a half ago. Big props to the Speedway crew for getting this Speedway dried out, and a little hand from Mother Nature, too, and getting us ready to go. Good crowd on hand tonight, and if it's anything like last year's race was here in Nashville, it's going to be a lot of fun.
The energy is absolutely electric here tonight. I love this crowd already, and I can't wait to see their reaction to this racing tonight.
Well, they're all standing for the start, and we are, too. We hope you're comfortably seated wherever you're watching. But the excitement's worth standing for. It's Newgarden in purple. Tony Stewart in red to his outside, coming to the green flag in Music City.
Perfect jump for Newgarden there. That's exactly what he wanted. Get it away from the guys behind him, but I know he wants to settle in, but this guy's got a great start going here.
Man, they went 3 wide, middle of the pack. The 46 red, white, and blue car, the patriotic theme, that is the local hero, the local all-star, Cole Williams. He got stuck in the middle of a 3-wide sandwich, and they all got away with it.
Well, in practice earlier, he was quite a lot faster than everyone else, so he definitely has the experience here. And I was watching the race earlier. It was a late model race here. You can run that middle lane. You can run 2 wide here quite a lot more than we expect, and it's a lot faster of a track than we've run so far this season. And that means that you're going to see a lot more excitement here, I think.
So this race is going on back for about 6th and 7th. We'll look back to Matt Kenseth. Right in the middle of that as well.
This track is very aggressive on tires also,
yes.
So we're going to talk about that a lot. The drivers do get a new set after the heat races, but right now you're still going to try to figure out how much can we push these things? How much can we go side by side without wearing them out? Because you might feel like a hero the first 2 laps being able to run the top side, but then you have no tires left.
Marco Andretti in orange, running in 7th spot. You look from the back bumper of his car on the left, on the right, looking ahead for Matt Kenseth's visor cam. What it's like to be bouncing around in traffic here at the Fairgrounds.
I absolutely love the visor cam. One of the best things that motorsport broadcasting has gotten in the last few years. It is a perfect view to see what the drivers are dealing with. And exactly, you kind of feel the bumps. You feel what goes through the drivers' bodies as they're getting into these corners.
So Matt settles in line behind Marco, and Williams drops in behind him. So again, that's for 7th, 8th, and 9th positions. Here's Ryan Newman, last week's winner at Stafford, with a brief peek to the inside.
And guess who's got a big old lead? Joseph Newgarden, multi-time IndyCar champion. But he also doesn't know how these tires wear, so I'm curious to see if he's just out there pounding around, hoping that everything is well by the end of the second heat.
All right, you already told us you stayed at his house last night. One of your rivals in IndyCar racing, but obviously very, very friendly away from the track. What did he really say about doing this for the first time?
Well, I've known Joseph since we were 12 years old, so we have gone through a lot in our racing careers. We've been racing against each other since that age, and he's reached a point in his life where he now has automated toilets in his new house. So I'm very excited for him and his success. He's just had his first child. Everything goes right for Joseph Newgarden. He's kind of like really the ideal human, and he looks like a Greek god. So it's impressive to see him out here doing his thing, and I'm glad he got this opportunity, because honestly, so many of us have wondered, like, what else is Joseph going to drive? Like, Joseph only races IndyCar. Like, he's really, really just kind of in that series, and I think every driver always wants to get out into something else and try it, and I think he's honestly, he was super pumped to get out here.
I saw Joseph earlier today. We were talking. He said, I have never raced anything with fenders on it in my career. Well, you are tonight, and you're leading at your hometown track in Nashville. So right behind Newgarden, things beginning to stack up a little bit for second. That's Elio Castroneves in red, Bobby Labonte in white, and then Tony Stewart in the brighter red car, second, third, and fourth. Now, Castroneves, back with the series this week after missing the race a week ago, has won a heat race in 4 of the last 5 SRX events he's competed in. So Elio's kind of figured this out a little bit.
Elio's having a great SRX season. Both him and I were dueling it out in IndyCar once again last weekend, but he's back here again, and we see him at the front of the grid. So it's pretty impressive.
Caution flag is out. Our SRX green flag lap limit. We'll put the yellow out, take a break, come back, double them up, and send them off again. Just underway in Nashville, Tennessee at the Fairgrounds Speedway. Pretty fancy pace car leading them around, too. Camp for less at Camp. Short track races in the sport's history, and it's produced some of the sport's biggest stars over the years. Now, one of the current stars of the track is the local all-star in our field tonight. Cole Williams is from Southern Indiana. He's 26-year-old, 2-time track champion here, the current track championship leader, and a young guy with big dreams, who's thrilled to be making connections and competing against some of his idols tonight.
It was great talking with him earlier. I got to kind of just ask a few questions on the track and what are the details, what does it take to be fast here, and he definitely knows. So I'm excited to see how he does tonight.
All right, Williams right now is back toward the tail end of the field after losing a few positions on the initial start. Newgarden in purple, Castroneves in the red, green flag, and we're back at it.
Former Penske teammates in IndyCar going head-to-head in the SRX series. We love to see this.
Newgarden squeezes up in front of Castroneves, so now Bobby Labonte in white to the inside for second place.
I love to see this. Joseph's probably got his eyes in his mirrors looking at who's going to be attacking him first, and we've got Bobby Labonte on the low side trying to get Elio.
Bobby Labonte, NASCAR Hall of Famer, so consistent in his competition here in the SRX series, but hasn't got the checkered flag yet, and he wants it badly.
Oh, yes, and you saw Elio sliding into the corner there. This track has such an old surface that it's quite slippery, honestly, and everyone's going to have to deal with that tonight. I got to do a few laps earlier, and it is a real challenge to keep the car underneath you. And now these guys, a few of the other tracks before this, not quite as high of a top speed. So now you're throwing these things in with a little bit higher top speed, and the rear can get out from underneath you, and that's what they're trying to deal with here. Keep the rear underneath you, keep the tires underneath you, because you got to have them for the long run.
These SRX cars have a lot of horsepower, 700 plus horsepower. Yeah. So on a track where you're trying to keep the tires underneath you, it's a big challenge.
Oh yeah, they got some juice, and when I was getting this sucker off of turn 4 earlier, I mean, you could slide the rears all the way to the start-finish line. So that's when you know you're having a great time.
Bobby Labonte is a former winner here in Nashville. Got a win a number of years ago in what was then NASCAR Busch Series competition. Matt?
Well, Alan, we talked before the race, and also Connor just touched on just how different this racetrack is, the incredible sensation of speed. Also, these guys are talking about the sensation of lack of grip, consistent through the whole field. The comments under the caution, no forward bite, meaning they can't get the car to jump back in the gas off the corner, and then it's so loose on entry. They're going to do a tire change at the end of heat 2, a little bit of adjustment here or there, and they should be good to go. Connor, big name dropper. What was in Newgarden's refrigerators?
Well, let me tell you, Matt, Newgarden has every single thing you could ever imagine in his refrigerator, and is it stacked up appropriately? Absolutely, and it goes all the way to the back of the fridge, so it's pretty impressive.
Everything in a row.
Everything. You got sparkling waters, you got the wines, you got all kinds of good things.
Pretty good traffic jam here. This is Michael Waltrip being chased by Matt Kenseth. You look for Matt's visor cam. And you got Tony Kanaan, Greg Biffle, Ryan Hunter-Ray, and the local all-star Cole Williams all in this group. This is for 8th place on back.
I love seeing the overhead shot we saw just a little bit earlier, because you could see almost every single car at Yaw sliding into the corner. We're going to see that all night as the tires get older, and that will be the key to this race, certainly in the long run, is who can keep that under control, who can keep themselves just ahead of the game when it comes to tire wear.
Couple guys that have raced against each other a lot in NASCAR competition. Here's Kenseth underneath Waltrip off of turn 4.
Matt Kenseth and Michael Waltrip, two names that you absolutely have to recognize if you know motorsport, and it's just awesome to see these guys battling with each other.
Of course, this the speedway where Darrell Waltrip made his name, 67-time winner. Michael's got a win here too. It was a while ago, 1984.
I was not alive.
Ooh, that hurts. And Michael brought his one of his 2 Daytona 500 winners trophies here to Nashville with him for an appearance he made downtown for his beer business that we showed you last week from Stafford.
The first thing Michael Waltrip said to me about 9 hours ago, well, let's say about 8 hours ago, probably around practice time, he's like, only 9 hours until I get to the bar so he can have some of his beers.
Think about what those Daytona 500 winners trophies mean, right? And here Michael had his arm wrapped around it, was sharing it with everybody. He said, it gives me joy to let people see it up close rather than it just be locked away in my trophy case somewhere all the time.
Loud and proud. If you win that race, everyone better know it.
Yeah. Joseph Newgarden, in his IndyCar career, has won 4 times when starting on the pole. He's about to win a heat race after starting on the pole in his first try in an SRX car. Side by side, Stewart barely edges out Newman. That would be for 6th place. And heat race number 1 is in the books.